This video is the same woman I covered previously, the very, very slow one. But for the sake of our sanity, I've painstakingly edited it. I've cut out all of her pauses and silences, taking it from a staggering 4 minutes 19 seconds to only 2 minutes 50 seconds. She is responding to the hate that she received in her comments, but kudos, she did leave her comment section open.
In response to all the hate that I'm getting for there is no such thing as reverse racism.
I will agree some of it was hate, but I'll imagine you're one of the people that imagines everything is hate if it doesn't line up with your extremely narrow-minded view. I've got to admit, I like your chest tattoo though. You obviously don't put out on the first date.
White people have all the power in the world. This is what I'm saying.
Damn, she almost sounds like a real person now, doesn't she? No. White people don't hold all the power. I won't even play the affirmative action card here either. Let's look at some examples of black people who hold all the power. And here's the kicker. Western power. Not like CEO of Alawabi's Used Motors in Algeria. I'm talking financial big hitters. There's Ursula Burns, CEO of Xerox. Chenault, CEO of American Express. Ferguson Jr., CEO of TIAA, a financial services company. Alwyn Lewis, CEO of the Potbelly Sandwich Works. Rosalind Brewer, CEO of Sam's Club. And Desiree Rogers, CEO of the Johnson Publishing Company. I could go into this more, but I'm going to round it off at 6. If you're that interested, it took me only about 5 minutes looking up these on Google. Oh, but sorry, I think I interrupted you. You were saying something about white people holding all the power?
Black people do not have the economical resource to be racist. They're not in control of anything in the world.
I'm trying not to swear here because I don't want to be deemed advertiser unfriendly, but she is a rocking fetard. You get that black people own their own countries, right? And govern them like we do here? So, not only did I show you extremely successful black people just a moment ago, but a map in my last video to you. But you still just... It's like when you're digging a hole in the garden. You think you might be making a bit of progress, and then you hit some hard bastard stuff that just won't move. That's how I feel right now.
If you don't think the past is reflective of today, you are a moron. Your ignorance is your bliss.
I'm physically quite strong, but even I am struggling under the weight of this crushing irony. You want to look at the history that influenced today? Alright, let's do that. I guess we're the ignorant ones for thinking maybe we don't owe black people the world on a platter. But they should do what the rest of us do in low-paying jobs we hate. Suck it up, face up to your responsibilities, and get that shitty paycheck at the end of the month. So you're assuming white men are this evil force. Let's quickly look up how many American soldiers have died in conflicts during war. You'll notice the largest number to be the Civil War that freed the slaves. The way I see it, the ethnic communities that were freed owe the heroes that fought and died for their freedom. Much more than those who got fought for and freed.
Now, I lived in a city that had a lot of minorities there, a lot of immigration there, and it was hard for me to get a job in the area that I usually got a job.
I'm so sorry for the jump cuts, but you saw her last video. It was either that or this, and I think we'd all prefer this, so I digress. Why exactly would it be hard for you to get a job? Could you not fit your white privilege through the doorway to get to the interviews?
Because they would hire immigrants so that they can pay them less.
A swing and a miss, unfortunately. That's not how the system works. It is, however, how it usually works in large, overcrowded cities. They never straight up say, we'll pay this black guy $9 an hour, but you $12 an hour. No, that doesn't happen. That's against the law. What happened here is what you thought they were offering for the work wasn't worth your time. So the hard-working people that need that money will fill those jobs. I assume we're talking about unskilled jobs here. Because frankly, if you told me you had some kind of skill, I'd need to re-examine everything I know about life and the universe.
So I was discriminated against from people because I was white, because they know damn well that a white person would never accept the pay that they were willing to give. An immigrant would.
Hang on 1 second while I facepalm so hard my eyes come out of my fucking nose. So what you're saying is white people are above working for minimum wage. Again, that's racist. But listen here, what you've described, that's not discrimination, sweetheart, seriously. Do you look up these words on anything other than Tumblr? There was absolutely no reason you couldn't have taken those jobs, except you were unwilling to work for the wage that was being offered. If someone else was willing, then so what? I myself have worked minimum wage jobs. There have been white people, black people, Indian people. It didn't matter. We were there for the money.
All your little biases, all your little situations of being discriminated against, experiencing prejudice. Prejudice. Is that a word?
Just say prejudice, love. You'll struggle less.
All your little experiences that you like to complain about white people because you didn't get your way in that instance isn't racism. Racism is systematic.
Wrong again. Keep that hamster running around that brain of yours, though. It might eventually create a brain cell. Racism is prejudice. Remember that word from earlier? No? Well, I doubt it anyway. It's the belief that members of each race contain certain traits that make them inferior or superior to one another. It's not an unskilled minority taking a minimum wage job that you were too proud to take yourself.
It's not personal experience. It's gonna get, you think it's hard now, 50 years from now, for white people? Because these people who have been so oppressed for so long, for hundreds of years now by white people, eventually they will gain their own power.
I imagine that might be counteracted by the effects of the Barbary slave trade that saw hundreds of thousands of white Europeans being captured and enslaved in northern Africa. But please, continue with your emotionally charged, intellectually deficient rambling.
And who's going to be even more affected? You right now are complaining?
Well, I'm not complaining. The only problem I see here is yet another child left behind.
All these little comments below about how people don't like you. You think it's hard now? Wait for these minorities to gain strength in their numbers. And their intelligence, from what I see, is far above the white person.
You recall earlier I gave you the actual definition of racism, the belief that some members of certain races possess certain traits, considering some inferior to others because of that? Well, that's what you just did. You just fulfilled the textbook definition of racism against your own white skin. Good job.
Who sits their kid in front of a television.
Yeah, because every white family does that. And all black people eat watermelons. You see, those two statements are the same in the fact that they generalize on a race.
And has the school system completely raised their children. And because the white families totally lack value and strength with their own belief systems.
Lack value? That's funny. I don't recall any Western families strapping explosives to their children and telling them to run towards the nearest government personnel. Maybe you and I just differ on our opinion of the word values.
That they're just giving it to the schools. And that's not strength. You're going to find that your kids are not going to be strong.
Well, if the school system spat you out, clearly something went wrong.
Not like these people who have will like iron. Your will is like plastic.
Yeah, you pronounced iron wrong. And iron is a ferrous metal, which means it will rust and crumble away before collapsing entirely. While plastic won't. It'll last for hundreds of years to come because it's not biodegradable. So, good example there.
You can comment below all you want with your hate. But you're going to see it's going to get worse for you.
The words came out of her mouth. You're allowed to comment below her video with all your hate. I'm sorry for inflicting you upon her again, but it wasn't half as painful with about a minute and a half of her umming and ahhing cut out. It was even between her words in a sentence. Well, let's hope this is the last time this unique-looking individual graces this channel and move on to some higher-reaching fruit. Lovely viewers, what half-baked reasons can you think of that makes you think racism is systematically all around us all the time? I personally find it racist that black people are allowed to talk to police officers as much as they do. I have a lot of respect for the police. I'd love to be pulled over and have a good old chat and thank them for their service. I'll put the answers that make me laugh the most at the end of my next video, and as always, thank you for your time.